right, on to example 1. And example 1 says that we want to determine dy dx if y squared is equal to x. So to do this, we're going to take the derivative of both sides in respect to x. Okay, so again, we're taking the derivative with respect to x. This is really important to understand, is that this dx right here is what we're taking the derivative of. Now, by doing this, we're going to actually determine dy dx, or sometimes otherwise known as y prime. So we write down our function, which is y squared equals x, and we're taking the derivative of both sides in respect to x. So we take the derivative of both sides in respect to x. So again, remember that we use the chain rule because we have the derivative of y squared with respect to x. So we can actually think of this y being squared. So using the chain rule, we know that the exponent is going to come down. So you get 2 y to the first power. That's using the chain rule. And then times dy divided by dx. So it's 2y, and again, that's a 1, so I'm going to erase it because we don't write a 1 as an exponent. Dy dx, which is equal to the derivative of x is simply just 1. Okay, so I'm going to write that again. 2y dy dx is equal to 1. Now our goal is to get this dy dx all by itself. So all we have to do is simply divide both sides by 2y, and you are going to ultimately get dy dx is equal to 1 divided by 2y. Now what this means is that given a point x comma y, you will get the derivative dy dx. So that means we can find the slope at any particular point given an x and y value. Now the reason we divide by 2y is, again, to get the dy dx all by itself. We're trying to isolate it. You can think of these two terms of multiplying, and so you need to divide by 2y to isolate it. Alright, this next problem I'm going to want you to try on your own before you continue watching the video. Whoopsie. So I want you to try to differentiate. Remember, spelling, very important. Differentiate y squared is equal to 1/2 x squared. So I want you to differentiate. If you get stuck, remember that means determine dy dx. Remember, this is our goal. Dy dx, this is our goal. So go ahead, take a couple minutes and try this out now, and resume the video when you have your answer. Okay, so you've got your answer. You've got your answer now, and it's dy dx equals something. So let's go ahead and work it out and make sure we got the right answer. So we have y squared is equal to 1/2 x squared. Remember, we're going to take the derivative of each side in terms of x. So we take d dx of both sides. And when we take d dx of both sides, remember, we're taking the derivative with respect to x. Again, the derivative with respect to x. So the left side of the equation simply becomes 2y dy dx. Remember the chain rule here. This 2 is going to come down to the front of the y, and you subtract the exponent times the derivative of the inside piece. So again, we're using that chain rule. We're taking the derivative of the outside times the derivative of the inside. So this is going to equal to 2 divided by 2, x to the first. Oopsie, slight mistake. This should be a d dx. If you caught that and were like, wait, stop, that's wrong. Good catch. So here we have 2y dy dx is equal to x, because 2 divided by 2, as we all know, is 1. So then we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 2y. But wait, Mr. Cooper, isn't there a different way to do that? Of course there is. It's dividing by something is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. We want to make sure we remember that algebra skill, because that might come in handy later. Hint, hint, we're probably going to need that. So these will reduce down to 1, and you get dy dx is equal to x divided by 2y. And that is your final answer. Awesome.